I've decided that I'm not going to bother getting dressed up for all these videos simply because I'm probably going to look like crap throughout most of this journey. Here's me in my natural state. I usually look this bad. You'll get used to it. Real quick before I get started, this video is going to be more of informative, so if you're interested in having gastric bypass or you're just curious for some reason, then watch this video, and if not, then I would skip to the week after next video, because next week will be a little bit informative too. First, I'll start off by explaining what a Root-and-Y gastric bypass is. That's the specific one that I'm getting. There are different kinds. Go ahead and look them up. There's a lap band surgery, there's a gastric sleeve, there's another kind of gastric bypass, but this is the most popular one, so if you're interested, yeah, watch. So they take this large portion of your stomach and they cut it into this little pouch about the size of an egg, and then they cut your intestines, pull it up to the small stomach pouch so that your food can go through the intestines and into the colon, and then they take this large stomach pouch and they keep it inside of you. Some people are like, that's kind of weird, but there's a good reason. There's still stomach acid in there, so they take the piece of the intestines that was cut off, they attach it to the newly made and rerouted intestine, and it changes the absorption of food, which is a lot of what helps you lose so much weight so fast. There are major pros and cons to getting a gastric bypass. I'll start with the cons first. The things that could go wrong sound pretty horrendous, but they're actually not that common, so I wouldn't worry about them too much, but it is definitely important to know what you're getting yourself into. So don't freak out about this, but also keep it in the back of your head because it's just stupid to go at something blind. You can get pneumonia, you can have a lung collapse, you can have a pulmonary embolism, you can get an abscess, an infection, or a urinary tract infection. You can get what's called a heparin effect, I think it's called. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's actually something that they give you so that you don't have a blood clot in your lung, and sometimes it backfires and you bleed too much, and it can be dangerous. A lot of these cons are just in any surgery, not just this surgery. It's gonna seem like the cons outweigh the pros, but if you're at that point, they don't. Okay, and then having a gastric bypass, the pros of it, you have a less likely chance of getting high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, it reduces your risk of heart disease, it can take away asthma if you have asthma, it can help with respiratory insufficiency, it can help get rid of sleep apnea, it can get rid of acid reflux, stress urinary incontinence, which is basically like you cough and you pee yourself a little bit. It's a lot more common than people think because a lot of people are too embarrassed to admit it even to their doctors. Back and joint pain and decreased risk of lymphedema. That's basically where your legs get huge and swollen to the point you can't even walk. But most of all, the biggest pro of it all is being able to live longer and live a healthy, active life, which some of you and I am not living now. I'm sure I missed some of the pros and cons, but I didn't want to make this video too long. I even tried to talk a little bit faster this time. I know I'm sure it's probably going to come out to be a little long anyway, but make sure you do some of this research on your own. And remember, gastric bypass is a tool, not a cure, and this is only for people in extreme cases. You know, gastric bypass is for people who've gotten past the point where they can realistically lose all that weight themselves. The easiest way to know if you will be eligible for a gastric bypass is if you are over 40 BMI. Me personally, I'm 59. Some people's body just can't handle being overweight and they'll get diabetes and high blood pressure at very low weights, and that can be a reason. But aside from that, they're not just going to throw this at you. They're not just going to say, here you go ahead and we're going to give you all this money and you're going to go get this done. Check back next Sunday and I'm going to be doing a video about all the steps and processes and money and all the things that you'll need to buy to get prepared for a gastric bypass. I'll talk a little bit about insurance, about being approved. Everything I know, I will tell you. So I'll see you guys next Sunday. Please subscribe up there somewhere. I don't know where I'm pointing. And again with the awkward goodbye, because I don't know what to do.